Hi everyone, welcome to Billy Fitzgerald Golf. And today we're going to talk about this left hip and how far it needs to be away from the golf ball when you hit it. Too many times when I see folks on the lesson tee and I get them into impact, in other words, they get here, I record a swing, this is what I see way too much. I see hips that are square to the golf ball when they hit. Typically what's happening is they've stood up, their arms have pulled in, right? They're running out of room because this left hip is not far enough away from the golf ball and this left leg is non-existent. This left leg is a really big factor on the downswing. Some would say it's probably what they feel the most. I know it's one of the biggest things I feel on my downswing, and the reason is this left hip has got to get out of the way so this golf club can swing freely into the golf ball. So if we went to a setup position, and then I got ready to go and I went into impact, my leg is going to push this left hip back and out of the way, right? Which makes this thigh roll in, which makes my right arm get on the back side of the ball. But what you can see is how much space there is between my left hip and the ball. I'm certainly not here. The reason is, again, if I come back here, even if I get my right hip out of the way, if I swing back, my right hip gets out of the way, and I start to swing down, and this left leg fails to move this left hip out of the way, there's going to be, no matter how good this leg works, there's going to be a certain point where my right hip has to drive into the ball because now my left hip becomes a pivot point. So I've got to get away from this feeling. I've got to get more into the very first move down. That's why we need to be at the top of this, if you want to call it, by the time your arm reaches the top of the swing, you better be on your left leg. You've got to have some pressure underneath your foot so your left leg can push right back to this hip, and it keeps pushing and it gets way out of the way so the club can swing on the path it's intended to into the ball in front of me and around, creating that circle. So we're going to hit a couple shots here. The very first one we're going to do is we're just going to hit a little impact shot. So you're going to go to setup. Get your grip on there, right? Go to setup and feel how your left leg pushes your left hip basically so far away from the ball that this toe, your left toe, comes off the ground. So again, so far away from the ball that that left toe comes off the ground. You can see. Now I'm just going to make a little chip shot. So my left hip is way out there, and I'm just going to tap the ball so I can feel how much room I have. See, it's already making this leg roll in and my right foot roll in. So now we're going to go to impact, then we're going to go back. We're just focusing on this foot, knee, thigh, pushing this hip out of the way. Now we're going to go impact and then hit a little chip shot. Right, so now we're going to go impact back here. Now you take the club back and feel your left leg push out of the way and push my left hip out of the way. So that ball went just a little bit farther. So all I did was go to impact, backed, take the club back a little bit, feel from here, the very first move, this foot, knee, thigh pushes my left leg, and my left leg pushes my left hip out of the way, which pulls my right arm up into the ball. Okay, so that has to be your transition trigger, whatever you want to call it. It's got to be the first motion down. It's not me pulling my arms down. It's not me shifting my weight to my left side. My weight better be over there by the time I get to the top of the swing. So again, when I swing back and I go up, right? I've got to have a little bit of lateral motion. I've got to make sure I'm up to that left side so it can push and my arms go through. So again, if I were to take my golf club and swing back, I've got to get, so once this hip goes back, right, I'm up to my left side and everything's waiting for that left leg to push, and it keeps going around the corner. So by the time I get into impact, my left hip is way out of the way. So if we made a practice swing, so when they talk about clearing, it's how much this left hip is clearing away from this golf ball. It's not just twisting my hips, because I can't be moving into the ball. So again, now when I swing, I start to feel, so it's my left leg pushes my left hip out of the way, so it's way out of the way by time I get down to the golf ball. So it allows my arms to work through, but we've got to train this left leg, foot, knee, and thigh to push this hip out of the way. So once I get here, my left leg pushes that hip out of the way. We've got to keep mimicking impact. So as the swing gets a little bit bigger, we start to feel here. We start to feel how much this hip, again, when they're talking about clearing, when you're thinking about clearing, my left leg pushes that hip out of the way so my right hip doesn't go into, it goes forward. My arms can swing down into the ball. This game is going to get so much easier. The ball is going to get so much easier to hit. And I hope this drill helps you and you start to understand what clearing is. As the left hip clears, you're going to play your best golf yet. For more tips like these or to schedule a live lesson, visit me at billyfitzgeraldgolf.com.